From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordo, and this is your News 8 Daily for Monday, November 24th. We have some fog out there this morning, scattered showers this evening expected. Be ready. We're going to start feeling much colder about Wednesday this week. Good news is the high of today will be around 55 degrees.
What can 160 years of experience teach you about the future? When it comes to protecting what matters, Pacific Life provides life insurance, retirement income, and employee benefits for people and businesses building a more confident tomorrow. Strategies rooted in strength and backed by experience. Ask a financial professional how Pacific Life can help you today. Pacific Life Insurance Company, Omaha, Nebraska, and in New York. Pacific Life and Annuity, Phoenix, Arizona.
And the kick is good. Kansas City survives. And they are still in the mix in the AFC.
For the second game in a row, the Colts go into overtime, but this time come up short. The loss in Kansas City moves the Colts to 8-3 on the year and just one game ahead of the Jaguars in the AFC South. News 8's Andrew Chernoff was in Kansas City and brings us reaction from the coach and players.
Colts never trailed in this game on Sunday until it was over as the Chiefs rally to beat the Colts in overtime with a game-winning field goal. The Indy offense just went stagnant at the end of this game. Its final four possessions, all 3 and outs. And against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, you just cannot do that.
Obviously very frustrating, not up to our standards today. We got to be better, and it starts with myself. Being efficient on 1st and 10, I thought at times we did that a little bit, but we didn't do it enough in the second half. It wasn't good enough, and it starts with myself. I think we got to be better in all phases, run and pass, moving the football.
Just didn't execute in some key situations. Got to do a better job, I think, overall in our execution, and certainly I have to do a better job in handling all that stuff. So tough to have a stretch like that towards the end of the game.
It doesn't get any easier for the Colts as they have arguably their 2 most important games of the season on the horizon. They host Houston next week before going to Jacksonville in 2 weeks, both divisional opponents. In Kansas City, Andrew Chernoff, Wish TV, and WishTV.com.
New on Daybreak, state police have issued a silver alert for a missing 15-year-old girl from Fort Wayne. Police say Aaliyah De Filippo was last seen yesterday evening at around 5 o'clock and that she could be in extreme danger and may need medical assistance. She is Hispanic and around 5 feet tall and around 110 pounds. Police say she has brown hair, brown eyes, and was last seen wearing a black tank top, red and black pajama pants, and carrying a blanket. Police say if you know where she is, you should call 911. Happening today, a former student accused of planning a Valentine's Day shooting at Mooresville High School is scheduled to be sentenced this morning. 19-year-old Trinity Shockley agreed to plead guilty last month to a charge of conspiracy to commit murder. The plea deal includes a 20-year prison sentence, and Shockley has agreed to not own a gun or set foot on school property. Prosecutors say Shockley had planned to shoot students during lunch on Valentine's Day this year. Online records show Shockley's sentencing is scheduled for 10:15 this morning. Indianapolis police are asking for the public's help after a series of shootings on Sunday, including 2 that left 2 people dead. The most recent happened last night on the Far East Side. IMPD says just after 5, a person was critically injured at the Carriage House East Apartments near 42nd and Mithofer. It is not clear what led to the shooting or if anyone is under arrest. Also on the East Side, IMPD says a man is dead and 2 others were injured after a shooting on Forest Manor Avenue near 32nd. It happened around 4 in the morning. Investigators say there was a fight between neighbors before the shooting. About 2 hours before that gunfire, IMPD says another man was killed in a shooting on the east side. It happened just before 2 in the morning on Michigan Street near Sherman Drive. Investigators did not say what may have led to that gunfire. There is no word yet on what caused an apartment fire in Burgersville that left 3 families without homes. Investigators say it started around 4 in the afternoon on Saturday on Hartshire South Drive. That's near Whiteland Road and State Road 135. Firefighters say they were able to put the fire out in just under 15 minutes, but multiple apartments had smoke and water damage. No injuries were reported. The body of a woman killed in Whitestown after she went to the wrong house to clean is now back in Guatemala. The family of Maria Florina Rios Perez received her body at Guatemala City's International Airport yesterday. They now plan to take her body back to her hometown, about 125 miles west of the country's capital. Here in Indianapolis, people supporting Maria's family held a fundraiser in her honor yesterday. The Alliance for Latino Migrant Advocacy says it was meant to celebrate her life and collect donations for her husband and 4 children.
Every single person here is donating their time, but also showing how much heart we have. And we're going to see this through until there's justice.
Organizers say online fundraisers have already raised more than $250,000 for the family. The man accused of shooting and killing Perez, Kurt Anderson, is out on bond while awaiting trial on a charge of voluntary manslaughter. In case you missed it over the weekend, friends and family said goodbye to fallen Delaware County Corporal Blake Reynolds. He was killed when a semi hit him and his squad car as he helped a stranded driver along I-69. News 8's Garrett Berquist takes us inside the celebration of life.
Here in the Delta High School gym, where Blake Reynolds once cheered on his classmates, Delaware County gathered to remember him.
Blake was always my first call when I just needed to talk. And every time he answered the phone, it was always, "What's up, broski?" Every time. And he was a great listener. He never judged.
Reynolds had served in the Delaware County Sheriff's Office for 3 years. He was a National Guard veteran. But his family says it was the things behind the badge that made him who he is. Dustin says his brother made him a better man.
In situations when most people would feel anger and frustration, Blake would feel compassion and understanding.
He loved his job because he loved people. What most people didn't get to see was the heart behind the badge. At home, he was loyal, goofy, and full of life. You've already heard about his headbanging music, Star Wars marathons, and one very spoiled cat named Nightwing.
Above all, his family says his faith guided him throughout his life. They say that same faith guides them now.
I want to say, with the full weight and grief and love in my heart, that I forgive the man that caused this. Jesus took the punishment for my sin upon himself at the cross, and because of that mercy, I cannot withhold forgiveness from another soul.
Blake worked the overnight shift during his time with the sheriff's office. Allison closed with the same words she and Blake would say to each other on the phone during those shifts, the last words they ever said to each other.
We would always say to each other, "I'll see you in the morning, though I won't see you again on an earthly morning. I will see you again in that heavenly eternal morning. I love you."
After the funeral, people paid their respects at the Delaware County Sheriff's Office and listened in as dispatchers issued Reynolds' final call over the radio. News 8's Hernan Gutierrez was there and shares more from the emotional moment.
You could feel the somberness in the air at the sheriff's office. A few dozen people were there to honor Corporal Blake Reynolds. Some said they didn't know him personally, although I did speak to one man who worked at the sheriff's office. He's remembering Reynolds for his friendly personality.
On November 12th, 2025, Delaware County Corporal Blake Reynolds answered his final call. While assisting a motorist on Interstate 69, Corporal Reynolds was struck by a passing vehicle.
As the maintenance superintendent for the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, James Brooks spoke with Corporal Blake Reynolds often.
It's a shame to lose someone so well in the community like that, especially the way that happened, such a tragedy like that.
A paramedic in the area joined the crowd at the sheriff's office near a growing memorial for Reynolds. She says she didn't know him personally.
We all work together and we communicate together, and that how everybody can go in and just be united as one.
St. Joseph County Patrolman Jax Oda was part of the honor guard for the services.
Delaware County Corporal Blake Reynolds, 1818, is 1042 for the final time. He has gone home to be with the Lord.
He says it was a very humbling experience.
Coming together at the end of the day to show support to that family, and a big thank you for that officer that gave their life doing what they loved.
Brooks says he will remember Reynolds for how genuine he was with his coworkers.
Every time you wanted to say hi or something, he'd stop and have a conversation with you and everything. He'd always take time out for everybody.
Corporal Reynolds' badge number 1818 is now retired and won't be used by another deputy in Delaware County. I'm Hernan Gutierrez for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Indiana's best political team says there's no guarantee the fight over the state's congressional maps is over. This is despite the legislature adjourning until January 5th. In this week's episode of All Indiana Politics, they discuss how the fight could evolve from here.
We need to keep in mind that the discussion is not over. I think a lot of people have come out saying, oh, it's over in Indiana, it's over. It's not over. The discussion continues, as we heard from Governor Braun. I think that this is still open for debate and something that's possible here. I mean, there was a Politico article that came out just today with polling showing 64% of Republicans in the state of Indiana support the concept of redistricting. And so at this time, I think it's important, we're talking so much about listening to constituents. 64% of Republicans in the state support this. And so it's something that I think we really need to continue to talk about. We're talking about fair representation here. The governor supports this. The Speaker of the House has come out in support of this. The entire House Republican caucus supports this. It's something that should, at the very least, be brought for a vote before the Indiana General Assembly.
Dana,
and
go ahead.
If we're voted down, we're voted down, but the vote needs to happen.
I find it odd that the argument is that we're talking about fair representation. How do you say fair representation is taking away the voice of 40% of your state? So maybe 60% of Republicans, but you still have to add in that other 40% of Hoosiers. And they're saying we're gonna disenfranchise you to enfranchise us in D.C. So that says black folks, Latinos, Indianapolis, Lake County, your voices don't matter. We're going to take those away. And to make the argument that we're going to make fair maps by saying 40% of the people shouldn't have representation in Washington is hypocrisy.
Allie is shaking her head.
No,
Go ahead. I'll let you respond before I move on.
That's not what we're saying here, obviously. And I would also point to the fact that I think we're missing this in this whole conversation. Any maps that are redrawn also have to withstand scrutiny of the courts. Mm-hmm. And so what we're talking about here, the discussion that's at hand right now, is whether or not the General Assembly should take this up for a vote so that Hoosiers can see where their lawmakers stand on the issue of redistricting. This should come for a vote. The House has expressed willingness to do that, and the Senate needs to take it up for a vote as well.
But the issue is, why do you need to redistrict? Why? Why don't you just run on the policies that are imploding on every Hoosier?
Remember that you can catch in-depth conversations like this one every Sunday in All Indiana Politics. It airs at 9:30 in the morning on Wish TV. Let's get to sports now. Notre Dame holds at number 9 in the new AP college football poll following a blowout win Saturday. The Irish dominated Syracuse 70-7 for the 9th straight win after opening the season with 2 losses. You have to go back to 1932 for the last time Notre Dame scored that many points in a game. It was a 73-0 win over Haskell Institute, a small college for Native American students in Kansas. Notre Dame wraps up the regular season this year on the road against Stanford this Saturday. IU remains number 2 behind Ohio State in the latest AP rankings after a bye week. Hoosiers take on Purdue for the Old Oaken Bucket this Friday. Chance to clinch a spot in the Big Ten championship game here in Indianapolis. Kickoff is at 7:30 in West Lafayette. And just a podcasting note, too. This is a holiday week, and I am off for a few days, so you might notice the podcast sounding a little different. It's going to be just part of the morning show. I will, though, be back next week for business as usual. So happy Thanksgiving, and keep listening. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Anna Mordeau. Watch us on Wish TV and WishTV.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at WishTV.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.